Welcome back. Today I'm analyzing the longest chess game I've ever played against my son at his request. Now, part of this game I've already included in an older video called Why I Usually Don't Resign, because this game was a good example of that. White was ahead enough where if I was a grandmaster and I knew my opponent was a grandmaster, I would have resigned. But I knew I was playing my son and he was playing me. We were both going to make blunders, and he did, and I was ahead for a while. And then I blundered and he was ahead for a little bit. And then he blundered and I was ahead. But he wanted me to include the entire game in a video analysis. And so here we go. He plays with the white pieces. I am playing with the black pieces. And the disclaimer here is that the first 14 moves we didn't come up with. It's the Queen's Indian defense, and he is not familiar with that enough to play these theory moves on his own, and I certainly am not good enough to match them perfectly. What we did was we copied the first 14 moves out of the book, Modern Chess Openings, page 566, if you're curious, or if you have the latest edition. I believe it's edition 15, and we went down column 1 of that page. So these moves have all been played, I assume, hundreds of times by grandmasters or students of the game, dating back, it wouldn't surprise me, 100 years or more. So we're still not actually making moves ourselves. Right to here. This is the last move that's in the book. So now we put the book aside and we play chess. Now, obviously the arrows are not. We played this game over the board and I imported it into Lichess for this analysis. So there's no arrows on the board showing which pawn he's supposed to take mine with, or even the knight for that matter. And he chose the wrong pawn, which the computer says is not accurate. However, the position is still relatively equal according to the computer. And here, the computer is saying I should move this bishop out. I really don't know why, but what I see is this battery coming down here and nothing guarding my bishop. So I don't know what I would have gained by doing that. But regardless, I made the wrong move. This doesn't stop the battery at all. And now he can just take a free pawn. Fortunately, he didn't. It says he should have just continued advancing with his pawns, and he moved the bishop out front. Regardless, the position is still relatively equal for the next few moves. And surprisingly, both of us played what the computer considered to be the best moves, or among the 1 or 2 top moves for the next few. I protected my knight. And now here I blundered. My thinking was all these pieces here are now protected from this queen. His bishop is inactive, trapped behind his own pawns. And so I thought, hey, how about developing some counterplay here, break open the king's position. I also saw nothing's guarding this square, and nothing's guarding that knight. But anyway, computer says, oh no, I should have moved this knight over here. So that set me back. Now, if you can see from the evaluation that Stockfish says white is clearly winning, it helped me that he then went with a mistake. I asked him about this move, and he said he saw what I was doing and decided to defend against it. So I thought, that's actually pretty good thinking for a child his age with no formal chess training. Says instead he should have gone here, which probably is fine. That pawn is currently not defended. And I responded to his mistake with a blunder. And I'll tell you what my thinking was. When he moved that bishop, it left this pawn undefended. And I saw a free pawn. Now this is why you should wait before every move. You don't, or I certainly shouldn't just say, oh, free piece, and take it. Because now that's a free piece. My knight down here. That's why the computer was saying to move my knight. But no, I took the free pawn. And to my son's credit, he took the free knight. Excuse me. And now this pawn's undefended as well. Regardless, again, impressively, both of us, for the next several moves, played the moves recommended by the computer. Either the top move or the next to top move. And again, we were just playing over the board in our living room, all the way through this queen trade, which he forced. These are all among the top moves recommended by the computer. This is important. I'm honestly surprised he thought to double his rooks and get one on the 7th rank. Wow. All this move was for me was guarding what I saw as my only remaining undefended piece. Now here, the computer says he should move here, and I believe the reason is so that he can double his rooks on the 7th rank. However, he did not. And I asked him about this, which the computer says is a blunder and puts the game almost back to equality. But he says he was thinking about doubling the rooks on the 7th rank. This spot is protected. The only thing I can think of why this would have been better over here is because I would be less likely to try to defend that, leaving my pawn unguarded. Also, it gives him an escape route for his rook if he needs it. Whereas this circle over here is fairly easily defended by me, and then gives him less time to double the rooks on the 7th rank. But I'm not sure because I'm not a computer. Regardless, I responded to it with a blunder. The computer wants me to chase this knight out. What I saw was a passed pawn, so I moved it. And it's saying, oh no, now he has checkmate in 10. Not that my young son can find checkmate in 10, but if his plan was to double rooks on the 7th rank, this would be the time to do it, when I'm clearly so unconcerned about it. He did not see that, and he told me here he wasn't sure what to do, so he just went back. Which, again, is a blunder. Still, it wasn't as bad as a blunder as mine. White is still winning. I advanced the pawn, which now that he's done this again and wasted his time, this is no longer a blunder. Now it's a good idea to come down. And he blundered again here, putting us back at equality. Now, he told me later the reason that he repeated was because he erroneously thought that the threefold repetition rule means he just does one move 3 times and results in a draw. He didn't realize it had to be a position that's repeated 3 times, which I'm not allowing because I'm continuing to move. And again, the computer wants him to double his rooks down here to try this assault. Because even if he gets his rook out of the way, this check isn't dangerous. He simply gets out of the way. I don't have a follow-up check, because even if I have a queen, I can't come back here to check because his rook's down here now. But he didn't know what else to do, got in front of the pawn. Now, black is winning, until my next move was a blunder. Remember earlier the computer said this was a great idea? Now it's not a great idea. Now it wants me to come over here with the purpose of coming here to attack both the rook and the king protected by this pawn. So basically the computer is now saying this is a waste of time. His rook can't get down here anymore, so there's no reason to chase the knight out. Black pieces being me, continues to be ahead here for a while. I take the knight. Yeah. That I probably should have taken back. It was a blunder to lock the position. I should have been opening the position. I see that now fairly obviously. Now he again tries to repeat moves. And we continue blundering and making mistakes back and forth, but each one of his blunders turns out to be a little bit worse than mine, and I continue to get a bigger and bigger lead as the game goes on. Now we manage to go without mistakes for a few moves, and I have seen a path in. That's why I had advanced the rook where I did. I'm going to come over, and there's not much he can do about it. And here, black is way ahead. And what I should have done here, let me turn on the evaluation bar for just a second. Well, it's giving me two different ideas. One is to say check again, and one is to get this rook way over here. And I'm not sure exactly why either one of those would be so great. But instead I saw I had another passed pawn, so I went after it. He does this in desperation. I get out of check, continue with my passed pawn, and here I thought, hey, we could trade off these rooks, but oh, I made a huge blunder. This rook's not protected anymore. Yeah, right there, I should have put him in check, protecting this rook, and then taken this. But I did not. I took the rook. Now he takes my other rook, and I don't have any rooks. So now white's ahead. I don't know why that's an inaccuracy. I guess I should have pushed the pawn. I don't know. My thought was to get my king here as fast as possible. And then he realized he had this pawn, so he decides to take his king as fast as possible. After I'm not sure why that's a blunder. Regardless, we get our kings over here, and it's dead even. I can't get in here. I can come around the side, but, I mean, I can't really do anything. In fact, if I come around this side, he comes here, protects his rook. But I have another move. And here's where he made a huge mistake. His final blunder, and I believe the final blunder of the game, is he stops guarding this square. And that's why I ended up winning, despite being behind there for just a little bit, because now my king is in there. He can't stop this pawn from promoting, just temporarily, distracting moves. So now he's got to start running. Here, I almost started repeating checks, but I came up with the tactic of check with the pawn, sacrificing the pawn to remove the guard. And it worked because he doesn't have a choice. His only legal move in this position is to take that pawn. So he took it, and now it's just a matter of cleanup, and he resigned at this point. But anyway, thank you for watching. Again, I put this entire game on here because my son asked me to. I thought we both played better than this until I looked at the evaluation. Lichess says I made 9 blunders in this game, and it says my son made 10 blunders in this game. Total of 19 blunders, plus a combined 5 mistakes and 4 inaccuracies. So hopefully something in that was instructive to you. I believe I learned a few things from it. I think my son learned something about connecting the rooks on the 7th rank. Thank you for watching.